where do I start? Let's go back to high school. I went to Liverpool High School, played my high school ball there, and I was lucky enough to get an opportunity to play Division One, NCAA Division One. I started my career there in Oneonta State, and then was lucky enough to transfer to University of Buffalo. So that's kind of where our story starts. I think it was after my senior year. I think it was after my senior year I was playing with FC Buffalo. So it was already when I was out of college that I was playing there with you guys and PSL. And and that's when I was one of the assistants at Niagara University.
Yeah.
So I mean, I always thought, teams like FC Buffalo and leagues like USL2, it's a great space because you can kind of keep playing and keep the dream alive.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
our team that year, which was our first year, which was crazy. So credit to credit to Jimmy Hash for getting you in the fold. But we had yourself, we had Mike Unwin, Richie Wilson.
yeah, we had a good team. We
Yeah.
had a really good team, and
Two for like a day before he got hurt. So like, yeah, I mean, that
yeah,
was and at the national, we were one of the only teams I believe to beat the national champions or something like that. So, yeah, it was a really, really good team, and you ended up becoming an all-star. And like you said, you had already started coaching. So at that point, were you still playing indoor professional soccer or no?
uh, I had a short stint
It was a
with
long
in
time ago, Dan.
2008. Yeah, right. It's a long time ago now. We're reaching back. No, but that was prior. That was still prior to my MASL career. That was 2011 and 12. I was there with the Silver Knights.
Yeah,
So that
but
was
you,
that was after. So the FC Buffalo was like part of keeping that alive. And then like we talked about, my I had a connection also through a former USL, a PDL teammate who got me out to Europe and got me a trial there. So that's kind of the long story short, how I made my way to Finland, and then life happens, and I was happy to set my roots down here, and I kind of, even since my Niagara coaching days, never kind of lost the passion to coach. So I really wanted to get onto the other side of the game. So that kind of led into coaching when the playing started to stop, and yeah, here we are now. And now I'm coaching in the Finnish second division, which is actually the fourth tier, like we had spoke about. So I would say kind of different style, different type of player profiles and these kind of things, but similar level to, I would say, USL 2, maybe some lower USL 1 teams. I'm not sure, but yeah. So here we are.
yeah, and it's funny how many different, I don't want to say breaks. I don't mean breaks in a good way. I mean like breaks in the timeline, right? So, I mean, you're playing with us. You were an NPSL All-Star. You mentioned all the connections that you had. I believe you said it was Steve Clark who went on to play MLS for like a million years as well.
Yeah, yep,
Ends
yep.
up kind of because he had been playing. Was he playing in Sweden or Finland, somewhere over there?
No, yeah, Steve was in Norway.
Norway.
We
Okay.
went to Norway. We played on the Michigan Bucks, Flint City Bucks now.
Yeah, there's still a powerhouse. They
Yeah,
always
still
have been.
powerhouse. Yeah, turning
Did
out
you win PDL or was it the
we
champ?
won. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. We won the championship in 2006, and that organization has done a great job on recruiting like top tier talent and
believe me,
turning
we're
out
aware. Yeah,
turning out MLS players, and a lot of guys have gone abroad from that club as well. So that was cool to be a part of. And then through that friendship, yeah, like we spoke about, I was able to get an opportunity in Norway and then eventually in Finland.
so how does that like, you talk about all the different ways that a career can develop. Um, I know a lot of people speak English, but you're talking about a different culture, a different language. how long did it take you to adjust? How weird was it? Obviously, you're living sort of your dream, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying you were upset at all, but
Mhm.
like what that's an adventure, man. And we've talked about it a few times, but for people who don't know your story, how does how does that happen? Like, what are your memories of adjusting and all of
Oh man, you know what? I just remember being so excited when I signed that contract. I
it?
was like, of course it wasn't anything big, but when they're paying your house and you get a salary and they give you a phone and they're giving you so you feel like, I was just happy to kind of focus on just playing and being paid to do it was like that was fantastic for me. So that was the initial feeling, but then it's not easy. It's not easy. Like you said, being in a foreign country, half the time you don't know what's going on, especially in the beginning. Don't know what the coach is saying half the time. These kind of things. There's competition for spots, so it's not like everybody, wants to be your friend, even. You're trying to take that guy's spot, and, so that was kind of something a little bit different than you get maybe in like a USL two kind of environment or a university, especially where it's your brothers and your friends. So that was kind of an adjustment, and then of course the culture, right? I mean, I got there in Finland in March, and it was like and I was in northern Finland, mind you, so
Pretty warm.
snow on the ground, bunch of snow on the ground, which I was familiar with being from upstate and Buffalo. That was nothing new, but the darkness was something new. And then
Yeah, how
when
long?
the,
So what walk people through that too? Like it's a lot. It's not all the time, but it's close.
yeah, and especially up north. So I mean, even in March, it was like getting dark like really early, and of course, in the beginning, you just adjust. You're there. You're playing football, so it's no big thing. I guess the harder thing was actually the summertime because
Okay.
then you get the midnight sun. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's if you don't have the really good shades or blinds, it's just kind of one of those little adjustments you have to make. And the food was no problem for me. Those kind of things weren't a problem. And no, I had a great experience. I had a great experience
Yeah, you
throughout
scored
the
in
whole
a.
thing.
I remember because we at the time. I mean, the games aren't necessarily being streamed, but we get these little updates because these things where it's like, oh, Daniel Stevens is scored in a cup game against a top division side or something like that. And I think you guys had a run at one point. But then what was really interesting is it was pretty clear that you were I mean, you got known pretty well there. You played for three or four clubs in those top divisions, and you were never like if you left a club, it was because you were going somewhere else. And so when you felt established, while you were getting established, did was the American thing a problem or was it an asset?
No, back then, I don't know. I guess I didn't really even think about it.
Okay.
I just wanted to like, show what I could do on the field and train hard. And, as you know, it's not easy being an athlete. You're working contract to contract as well. So I wasn't really thinking about what they were thinking about me. But surely back then, like Americans in Europe were looked on differently than the post-Trump era, I would have to say. Um, that's just kind of reality. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, I didn't really see it as like a detriment or anything like that. I mean, Americans do have a good reputation for being hardworking, having good work rate, these kind of things. So I tried to like implement that into my game also
Yeah.
as much as I could, improving my work rate and these kind of things. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm trying to look up wall talking, which is always dangerous. But the cool thing, I mean, I was 27 when my friends started FC Buffalo, so I wasn't much older than you. So it was kind of a neat time because like you were asking us questions that we were still figuring out the answers to. But you and especially MJ, and Buana Johnson, who I still talk to whenever I can, and is quite frankly
MJ.
maybe one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life. But I
Yeah,
can remember
legend.
even at yeah, I mean even after our first, and I know you played with them in college, but even after
Yeah.
our first season, I remember sitting down with you guys and like you too. Went to like the Steer or something, and you guys just kind of walked me through like the the potential because you had both played in PDL and you had been around, and it was like, look, I know you guys think you've got, you guys, you basically told us you've got all these bills, and I know that was hard and you barely got through it and all that, but you didn't do a bad job. So like keep fighting. But I remember, yeah, so like with MJ and with yourself, like it was always clear you guys had a sort of a leadership head on your shoulders and things had gone so well for you. I guess it wasn't a surprise for us to see you get into coaching. But what was neat for me was realizing you were getting like first team opportunities and whether it be wherever it was. So, and I know that there's so much more work into that because while you're playing, you're going to get your UEFA license. Are you at A or UEFA Pro?
I have the A now.
Right, which is crazy work already.
Yeah.
So, how in the world do you kind of elbow your way into the room of potentially becoming a manager?
Well, let's see. Toward the back end of my career here in Finland, I realized I wanted, like I said, I wanted to stay in the game. And one of the clubs that I was with had one of the guys on the under 17s, so under 17s and under 19s, I think it was,
Okay.
had asked me if I wanted to work with him. So I had aligned with my training schedule, so I kind of got back in that way. And then I realized, wow, I'm really passionate about this too. Like I'm getting fired up. I'm like analyzing how I'm coaching and how I'm planning the trainings, and that turned into a bigger role the following year, and it kind of snowballed. And we had success with those teams, so that definitely helped. That we had kind of raised those teams in the junior ranks from like a third tier, because they do the same in juniors and
Right.
seniors here, to this kind of top level in the matter of 5 years,
Yeah.
which was really kind of cool to be a part of that. So then that all snowballed. I wanted to learn more. I took my B, and because of that, I had this type of career. I was able to go straight to my UEFA B, and then kind of fast track the UEFA A. And all why this is happening, I'm taking bigger role inside of this club, and did some what was it, like a junior chief, and then coaching chief, and academy head coach, and then that role with this club ended. Was it 2020, 2024?
Okay.
So that's when I moved to PuiU. I was keen to get into the men's game now, so that was my first opportunity in the men's game, first taste there, and that's kind of, yeah, now where we stand.
And your first job was first team manager there at PuiU.
This is my first job managing in the men's level. Yeah,
Well, no, but I mean like when you moved to that club, this
yeah,
was what you moved there for. So,
yes, for
yeah,
the first
so
team. Yeah.
what's that like? We started getting into this the other day. What's that like setting a standard? You are from minute one. I always wonder about that with any manager, right? Like unless you're really well established, you're Hansi Flick or whatever, right? You walk in the door, you know almost nobody there. I mean, you've got a great reputation over there, but still, this is your first management job, and you're not from Finland. So, although you kind of are from now, like you've been there almost half your life, it feels like, right? So, or at least a quarter of your life. So what was that like and what was that challenge like and how do you think you were regarded? Do you think people were skeptical? Or were
Oh, there was Nick, man. There was huge like skepticism,
they
not only because of me and my inexperience, maybe at that level. Although I was confident, I had been assisting, working at that level, and um, it was also within the club, because that club had never actually gone to that level and kept a place there. They've always been relegated. They've been there twice and been relegated both times.
Right, and we should say this is a big city. This is in like, is it right in Helsinki or just outside of Helsinki?
No, it's like North Helsinki.
Yeah, like this is
Yeah, but
this
it's
is
a
not like in the
cool.
sticks. Yeah, people are
No,
paying
no,
attention.
no. So this club had more of like a hobby, community club kind of vibe. These guys did a like had a awesome Cinderella kind of season the season before, and then yeah, taking this challenge, I knew that I was confident I could build a team because I know the Finnish systems. I knew the type of quality I had to have in order to survive and maybe even to thrive a little bit. So I was very well like educated on okay, this guy's not good enough or this guy can compete at this level. And then I just went about, like you said, just setting the standards. I like this one Bill Walsh, the old 49ers coach. He had one saying, what is it? High standards for actions and attitudes.
Yeah,
So I just started with that. I just kept repeating that. And then, of course, we got behind some principles, how we want to play in the attack and how we want to play in the defense. And, just kind of changing the culture little by little. And that took time.
right.
That took time. That was like a whole process. But once we were in mid-season, we were kind of I was really happy to see where we went in such a short period of time. Um, but yeah, more or less that was the process. Of course, there's so many layers in the management, um, but yeah, it was really fun to be a part of.
So the first season, basically was did they lay out goals for you? Was it like, hey, look, just stay in this division. It's our first, it's one of our first times this high. We've just been promoted. Just stay up. Because ultimately, not to spoil the story, but you guys were right there in the mix to move up, right? If I'm remembering correctly. So,
Yeah, that's right, that's right. They were in the mix to do a double promotion, which would have been pretty cool.
but
Uh,
still, like I'm sure that wasn't necessarily the expectation when,
no, it wasn't at all. Like you said, I think the bar that was initially set was yeah, let's survive.
right.
But then after a while, we realized that hey, like we can actually compete, play good football, and play entertaining football. And the club is in this northern Helsinki area where there's a really cool community, and we got a good amount of fans behind the games. 500 to 1,000 at
Yeah.
home games. Which in this kind of level and environment that was really solid, so that was
Yeah.
cool to see as well. So we were entertaining the fans, we were getting good results, so I think everybody was quite satisfied with that first year. But now the second year is here. I'm going through the same processes again, and like they say, the second year could always be more difficult, so I'm taking that as the new challenge.
Do you feel this? Do you feel expectations shifted at all? Or, I mean, obviously I know how it is, especially with people like you. You're a level-headed guy. You're going about your own processes, but like obviously when you have the success that you guys had and the exciting football and all that, like do you feel juiced up in a different way than you did last year?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would be lying if I didn't say that I did that I do. Last year, I was nervous, man. Early on, am I going to be able to get these guys that I need?
Right.
And those pieces, they fell into place. I mean, now there's more interest in the club because of the season we had. There's 3 times, 4 times as many emails and calls I'm getting from domestically and abroad. So, just based on that, I'm feeling pretty good. And the guys that we've got returning, um, give the team like a really good chance to be solid contenders, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
we'll be rooting for. Is there a club store we can find online?
there is, man, there is. We'll have to link that somewhere.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
this PuiU gear going uh, across the Atlantic.
Yeah. I mean, naturally, I think there's already a huge fan, but no. That's neat, man. So I guess the next kind of natural question is you're over there now. You've been there for, I mean, what? So that's 2011. Does that sound right? 2011.
Man, it's
Yeah,
crazy, isn't it?
it is. So, I mean, and you got a family over there. So just, I guess briefly, like, what's your setup now, man? Like, what's life like for you?
Oh, life is good. I can't complain. I'm living in the Helsinki area now with my girlfriend and her kids. So, that's nice. I also have a cottage
Oh,
in the state park, actually the closest state park to Helsinki, which is cool. The nature is really great here, and they have some cool cultural things here, like
yeah. You take a lot of sick
sauna
pictures
and
too
like
over the
ice
years.
swimming,
Yeah.
and yeah, so cool things like that I've really adopted. So yeah, life is good. I think all the time about coming back to the States and if I could get a good job there. Of course, that's in the back of my mind, but I've really grown to love Finland. Of course, that's why I haven't left. I really do like Finland. I like it here. No real complaints. So life is quite good. Yeah.
You go to any
Besides the dark. That's the
besides
only
that?
thing. The winters are a bit too long and a bit too dark, but other than that, it's all good.
You go to any hockey games over there?
I don't,
Were you
man.
never a big hockey guy anyway?
I never was a big hockey guy. Only the Sabres.
Yeah,
Only
well,
the
that's my
Sabres.
first love. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember going to a few Sabres games. Man, I would get behind them, but yeah, like not. I guess not a big hockey fan, no.
So last final question. I mean, you mentioned Steve Clark. Obviously, it's funny because I'm looking at one of his old boots actually that but your boy Bobby F. Shuttleworth, whatever his middle name is, he's had some success as well. So I mean you that sort of generation, and what people don't realize, especially because UB hasn't had men's soccer in a while, is at that time I'm going to school at UB. I'm not good at soccer, so I'm not playing, but I love it. I mean, you guys in Akron, who ends up becoming a national champion, that was legit rivalry. So all these guys that and watching their careers take off and stay in the game, like, is this something where you're still in touch with them and kind of saying, hey, greetings from Finland. Here's your boy on the first team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Steve Clark. Yeah, those guys are legends in their own right.
yeah.
And I
Bobby's
have
got
been
hired.
able
Bobby's
to.
got a D1 head job somewhere I saw.
Yeah, he does. I think was he working at Florida State?
Yeah, and they won a
Yeah,
national
Florida
championship
State. Yep.
with
So
a girl
yeah,
from
those.
Rochester, by the way, scored the winning goal. Yeah, her sister played for us. Her name's
Okay.
Rihanna Hudson, but and she played at the Flash here, which is a big academy. I don't know if they were here when you were here, but her sister Wanaya went to Notre Dame, played for us, and she's in Scandinavia playing, which is funny. I can't think of the name and I'd pronounce it wrong anyways. But anyways, to complete your point, like so
That's cool.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really lucky to play with some great goalkeepers. Bobby was fantastic at UB and went on to have a great career. Steve at the Bucks, and actually, funny enough, Timmy Melia, the
Oh yeah?
Sporting Kansas City, he played at Oneonta State.
Did he
So
really?
my first 2 years
That's
at Oneonta
wild.
State, Timmy Melia was the goalie. So yeah, three pretty big MLS names. I had the opportunity to play on the same team.
That's
So that was
insane.
that was cool. Those guys were quality. Yeah,
Yeah, no doubt. All right, man. I know you got training sessions to plan, and you're also we didn't even mention it this time when we spoke, but you're basically kind of, I guess, you not the technic is it the what's the equivalent of whatever your full job is there? Because you're now doing development too with the youth.
yep. Working on the youth side of the development manager. So yeah, just slowly trying to improve the player path, excuse me, within the club. Um, so yeah,
Well, we'll try to move some PuiU gear online and hopefully, increase that transfer budget for you. And it's always good to talk to you, man. I'm so proud of the journey you're on, just because like for any American, like if I was talking to just some dude who did this, I'd be kind of amazed. And I know it's a different culture, right? But like I think about Graham Potter, who like had to leave England from, to go to Sweden to make his name and then becomes one of the biggest managers. So like at your age, man, like just knowing that you could like it's right there for you. And the idea of winning promotion, yeah, man, we're following it. We're so excited because when it happens to somebody that you know is awesome, right? When you happen to someone that you know and you like and put in the work and man, I mean, we root for you so hard. And I know we don't see each other ever because you're in Finland, but just know like that seeing you have success means a lot to us.
Well, thanks, Nick. Like it was really nice catching up, and for you to take the time to do this was really cool, man. I really enjoyed it, and I think a big part of it too, is you guys because you guys pushed me. You gave me a little push here and a little push there, and kind of those kind of things really help. So I appreciate it. And now we need to move some FC Buffalo players.
Yeah.
Let's do some player movement. I'm really interested actually in like we talk about this USL 2 players, and I gotta get to Buffalo too to see a game
Well,
and
we'll
to
take
catch up with you guys
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll
and
take care.
organize
We
that.
know your season is forever. So,
Yeah,
and it's at the same time as ours. But no, man,
yeah, it's
seriously.
tricky. It's tricky. Yeah.
I will say this just to tease it. I I think there are some serious dudes who would just love to know what would be more attractive than going to Europe and giving it a spin is doing it for someone who has made the journey. Like you can show them what's possible. So yeah, man, thank you. I don't want to take you much longer. I know how busy you are. So hopefully we can get a little bit more exposure for you, but more importantly, it's great to catch up. Merry Christmas and all that, and to your family and your girlfriend and the kids and yeah, man, good luck. What's the team's nickname? Is it just PuiU, or do you have like a?
PuiU is the nickname. Yeah.
Yeah.
The club plays in Puistala,
Okay.
which is just like the name of the area.
Yeah.
And the actual club is Puistala Athletics, Puistalan Urheilijat
Okay.
in Finnish.
Yeah. I'll
But
say
it goes
that.
by PuiU. Yeah, it's a little strange name. And then if you probably try to translate it on Google Translate, it says wood, but that's not right either. So
Okay. Listen,
yeah, that's a tricky one.
I'll let you guide me on that, Dan. Thank you so much for your time, and
Thanks, man. I appreciate
yeah,
you.
we'll talk really soon.
All right, man.